All right, premature evaluation for Call of Duty Black Ops 2. So right now I'm playing on the PC, and the first thing that I don't like about this game, so overall, big thumbs up. I'm absolutely loving multiplayer. Single player has been awesome as well, and there's a ton of depth to it and a ton of, like a huge amount of replayability for single player, which really impressed me because compared to Halo, there's none.
Yeah.
But I have to say the PC port is kind of a piece of shit. Well, it's not a piece of shit. It's just really poorly done. So you can see in Steam, there's 3 separate instances of Call of Duty Black Ops 2. There's single player, multiplayer, and zombies. And I mean, that isn't really a big problem. And especially because within the game, you can actually launch the separate, I mean, like you can switch to zombies and multiplayer like you can on the Xbox, like you'd expect. But it doesn't save any of your settings when you go between the different instances. So I spent quite a bit of time like customizing my controls and customizing my graphic settings and stuff like that in multiplayer. And then when I switched to single player, none of that transferred.
That's really annoying.
It is really annoying. It's fucking stupid. It's really poorly done. I mean, there's no excuse for it.
No.
It's just shit. So we'll start off with single player. I've completed the game quite a few times now, and one really interesting thing about this game is that there are multiple endings to the game. And I made a couple of videos like showing off the different endings and stuff, but I'll just kind of show. Well, because when I made those ending videos, I was actually playing on the Xbox 360, and right now I'm still working my way through on the PC for like my 6th or 7th time through the game. Anyway, so you can see, like, when you look at your career record for single player, it shows you different things that have happened. So, like, on the first couple missions, there's no real variability.
Mm-hmm.
You can't do one thing, like, you can't fuck up or make decisions yet. But as you go through, it'll say so-and-so has died, or searching the compound was insufficient. And that can play a big role throughout the rest of the game. So I thought that was incredibly well done. And
almost like a Walking Dead kind of thing.
Yeah. And, you know, I don't think reviewers really gave this game enough credit for what this game has done. Oh, I wanted to skip this. Oh, shit. I didn't want to resume. I wanted to. Because like a lot of the choices, you don't even know you're making a choice.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just think you're playing the game.
Right.
I'm gonna do a different mission.
Okay.
Because I didn't want to, or do something a little bit.
Oh, this guy's dead.
Well,
made a note of that for some reason.
Well, no, it's like there is. So at the end of the mission that I just quit out of, there's an interrogation scene, and I'll try not to spoil too much. There's an interrogation scene where you're interrogating Kravchenko, who is one of the main villains from the previous Black Ops game, who like brainwashed you and all that stuff. And he, and then like it prompts you to tap X as quickly as you possibly can to prevent just like shooting him in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And my first time through, I was like, fuck this guy. Just shot him in the face. I didn't tap X once. I just wanted to see him die right away. And then I realized later, like, oh, you're supposed to interrogate him.
Yeah.
So an interesting thing that I don't think really adds a lot to this is you can customize loadouts in single player. Like you can add different attachments. And I think that just adds a level of complexity that doesn't really add a lot to the gameplay. I mean, it's there and it's sort of nice. Oh, and like another thing too, like this, a lot of the menus on the PC, not really well designed for the PC. I mean, it works fine on the Xbox when it's designed for that, but like scrolling left and right like this by dragging it or hitting like that's the only way you can do it, by like clicking the arrows, these tiny little arrows that are really designed for the console.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just kind of shit. So you can customize these, you get different perks. The access kit is kind of interesting, and you should always have that one on, this perk, because it gives you access to otherwise inaccessible parts of the map. Now that makes it sound like you're going into like secret new territories or something like that, but it's much less it's much more subtle than that. It's basically like you have a crowbar or you have a blowtorch, and you can access.
Open a certain door.
You can open a door, but it's not like it opens a new area. It opens a door that has some ammo in it or a special weapon that you can use. It's not like it's opening a different route to complete the mission. This game is also pretty gruesome.
Really intense.
This is how the game starts off. This dude is burning alive.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And he hands you a machete?
And he hands you a machete. So right now we're in the 70s or 60s. I don't remember off the top of my head. And I did a graphics comparison video of this game too. And the PC version doesn't look a ton better than the Xbox version. I was kind of surprised.
Now, is that
I guess
saying the PC version looks like shit, or the Xbox version looks good?
I think it's... Well, this doesn't look like shit. But compared to Battlefield or something like that,
Yeah.
This doesn't look as good. It's not as detailed. So yeah, back to the decision thing. There's another very pivotal moment later on where you don't realize that you're making a decision. And I think... So it's a tricky decision that Treyarch had to make, right? Like, they can either be super obvious about the decision, and just like say, hit A to kill person, or hit B to spare their life. Or they can do what they did and say, so this is a minor spoiler, it's maybe about a third of the way through the game. You have a sniper rifle and you're with a guy that is sort of trustworthy, and he tells you,
shit.
Yeah, this game's pretty gruesome. So you're with a dude that's sort of trustworthy, and he tells you to shoot this guy in the head. And your first time through, you don't even think about it. Oh, so this is the access kit.
You don't know that it's a choice.
So you don't know that it's a choice. So you just shoot him in the face.
Yeah.
But that's actually like a good guy.
So, is there a right and wrong through these choices, or just...
Well, if you want the best ending, yes.
What does best
right.
mean? Like, good?
America wins, everybody's living
Happily ever after.
happily, like the best, well, yeah, like best as in America is doing the best.
Not necessarily best as in coolest.
No, my favorite ending is the worst ending.
Okay.
Well, it's not even the worst ending. Like, there's multiple versions of the worst ending.
Uh-huh.
There's quite a few different kind of permutations for the ending, I guess, is the best way to put it. But like, so what do you think about that choice? Like in a Mass Effect, or
I think
in any RPG, it says it's very obvious. Like, okay, there's the blue choice, there's the red choice, and then sometimes there's like a neutral thing to get more info. But in this, I don't think.
I like the way they did it. I mean,
like, they both have their merits, but like no other game has really done it this way. And I think that it might have confused people and irritated people that, oh, holy shit, I made a choice. I didn't know I was making a choice.
but that adds replayability.
It does add a lot of replayability. And they actually do a pretty good job at making it easily accessible from a replayability standpoint. Like, if you make a bad choice, or you make a choice that you're not happy with, it lets you rewind the story to that point, but you have to replay every mission after that. So it's like literally rewinding a tape. And to see the new ending, you have to redo the whole, like...
Play from that decision.
Yeah,
on.
like if you screwed up something in the third mission, you have to redo everything. So it's not like... It's not super accessible in that regard. But just watch my all endings video.
Yeah.
That's why I made the video, because I knew that people didn't want to play through the game 5 times and potentially screw something up as well. Like, it's not, like I said, it's not always super obvious what choices you're making.
Once you beat the game one time, is it obvious what all the choices were?
No, it's not. Like, the oops,
So there's not like some list of choices.
well, yeah,
you
like
made.
I showed you that menu,
Yeah.
but it's not always obvious when you're making the choice, or sometimes when you. So the one choice that I mentioned, where you shoot the guy, he's got a bag on his head, and you don't know that he's a good guy. Mm-hmm. That's the trickiest decision in the game.
Okay.
There are other decisions, like there's one moment where you have to catch up to a bad guy who's taking a girl hostage whose help you need, and you don't, unless you play through it a couple times. Like on your first time, you won't realize that you can screw that up, and he may just get away, or you may just catch up to her, and you don't necessarily know that you made that decision. And that one's kind of obvious, but the one with when you shoot that dude, that one was really crazy, because like you still have to shoot him too. So if you want the best ending, shoot him in the leg twice instead of shooting him in the face, and then he'll live. Well, shit, that's a big spoiler, I guess, that he lives. But anyway, it's
Whoops.
Yeah.
Well, you spoiled what was it, Black Ops 1 pretty bad during our walkthrough.
Oh, well, yeah. I didn't give it away as blatantly. Oh, there's a helicopter. Take a helicopter drink while you're flying on a helicopter in the game.
That's a double drink.
That's a double drink.
So this is the most you've ever talked about story, I think, in a premature evaluation.
Yeah, because it's good and it's interesting. Like I don't want to just start yelling about Halo again, but I thought it was really well done, and I really disagree with a lot of the reviews that I've read about this game. They really shit all over it when, I mean, it's not a cinematic masterpiece with a story that's going to rival
Apocalypse Now. Or...
Well, no, I was thinking like James Joyce, who was actually referenced quite a bit in this game. Mm-hmm. Or, it's like, but no games do. But for a game story, I think it didn't. For a first-person shooter game story, this is one of the best ones I've ever played.
That's saying a lot.
And the game is brutal.
Because you've played a lot of games.
Because I've played way too many games.
So besides that, the gameplay, is it just the same as last time?
For single player, yes. Whoa, that's... What was that?
That was awesome.
That was ridiculous. I'm glad I got that on tape. That's the first... Oh, shit. I died because I was watching that guy, like, literally moon slide. That was really, really weird. Maybe I can get him to do it again.
I doubt it.
I doubt it, too. Because I'd never seen that before. So, yeah, gameplay for single player. It's... Yeah, nothing particularly new. I mean, you've got those completely customizable loadouts and perks and stuff like that for single player, but I don't really think that adds a lot of value to single player at all, personally. Like, in fact, I think that kind of takes away from single player. I think it adds an element that doesn't need to be there. I think it's kind of unnecessary, and for single player, it should just be balanced to you versus the machine. Now, when it's like you versus other humans, it's a little bit more of a chess match. Like, okay, I have these 5 loadouts, and I can switch between them every time I die, because I know that they're using a lot of, I don't know, EMP grenades or something like that, so I shouldn't be using my abilities that get knocked out easily by their EMP grenades. Or they're using a lot of, like, bouncing betties, which are basically the claymores. So I'm going to need to use a perk that lets me see that stuff because I'm dying a lot from that. So there's that kind of chess match with perks in multiplayer. But in this, you choose what you're starting with at the beginning of the mission, and there's not a lot, like, there's no flexibility in it. So it's not nearly the same.
The necessity's not there.
Right, the necessity's not there. And like when you're planning it out, you're like, I have no idea what I'm getting into in this mission. So it's kind of stressful at the beginning of the mission. Like, what if I make the wrong choice and I get halfway through the mission and I can't get any further because I have shitty guns?
Right, like I'd say like a good first-person shooter was Halo. And there's those missions where you just start with a sniper because this is going to be a sniper mission.
Exactly. Well, they give you defaults, and honestly, like, they give you default weapons and grenades and secondary grenades. And I would just stick to those. Oh, no. Have the so you get 2 weapons by default. Stick with their default primary weapon and then do whatever you want for the secondary weapon. And the secondary weapon, it's not like in multiplayer where there are secondary weapons like pistols and rocket launchers that are more utility weapons, I would say. This, you can do whatever weapon you want. So you can have like a shotgun or a second assault rifle or a machine gun for that second one. So that one, it's not like you're limited by what you could choose from. So that one, so the second weapon and the perks are the only ones that are really flexible. So it doesn't add anything. It just adds a layer of stress at the beginning of it. Like, what if I made the wrong choice already?
Right.
In a game that has a lot of choices that are actually interesting, I think that adds some that aren't.
Okay.
Yeah. So, story is good. Combat is exactly what you'd expect. I haven't played through very far on Veteran, but it seems really, really easy on Veteran compared to previous games. Like, I died 3 times in 2 levels.
Is that because you're on the PC?
I don't think so. No. It should... no, not at all. It's just less grenades, maybe less enemies. I haven't tested it specifically to see if they have a... or I haven't needed to test yet if they have unlimited respawning enemies like they have in a lot of the previous Call of Duty games.
Yeah.
But the game doesn't really seem to be designed with a lot of huge battlegrounds like a lot of the other Call of Duty games have had. You know, like World War II, you're in the trenches and you just have to fight your way forward, and then you walk over that invisible trip line, and that stops them. There's not a lot of situations like that in this game. There are a few, but not...
Was it...
It doesn't feel like there are unlimitedly respawning enemies in this game.
So Black Ops 1 or Modern Warfare 3 where there was just tons of those like breach situations?
I fucked up.
You remember those?
Yeah.
Like, you walk in and it's slow-mo, headshot, headshot, headshot.
Right. I think there are a couple moments like that in this game. Oh, you're thinking of Medal of Honor Warfighter. That had thousands of... No, I think it was... Well, shit, all those Call of Duties running together. I think it's Modern Warfare 3 just had tons of them.
Are there any in this?
Yeah, there's a couple in this. Not nearly as many as Medal of Honor.
Not overload.
And then they come way late in the game, actually. Yeah, there's no door breach overload like there were. I'm pretty sure it was Modern Warfare 3 that had those. The door breach overloads. So the first couple missions... Actually, I don't know about that. I was going to say the first couple missions have a lot of these kind of set pieces, and they have less of them as the missions, as you get later into the game. But that's probably not true. There are less of them, but it's not like they completely disappear. Oh, and the Strike Force missions. Those suck. I don't like those at all.
What are they?
So the Strike Force missions, they're optional missions. They're optional if you don't care about the ending. They are these missions where you are part of a strike force, where you have like 2 squads of dudes and control of like a kind of a mobile remote control tank, and sometimes like flying little mini helicopters, right? And you can switch between control of, so it's almost like an RTS where you zoom out. I should have unlocked that and showed in this video, but you know, whatever. So you zoom out, you get this overhead map, like UAV vision of the whole thing, and you can select different people and zoom in and take control of them, and then zoom out. And then through that overhead view, you can it's like an RTS. You can tell people to attack this area or to attack specific enemies. And it's not fun at all. At all. Like, it's not fast, it's not well done. And so, like, how good are you at micromanaging in StarCraft? Like, if you have 4 groups of dudes,
I'm not good at that.
You can't control all 4 of them separately. Like, you put them in their spot and they just sit there and they better fucking do their thing on their own.
Right.
Or else they're going to die. Like, you put the siege tanks there and you put them in siege mode.
Yeah.
And they don't move for the rest of the game.
Right.
That's basically it. Or you get a huge cluster of all your dudes together and you move that entire army together. You don't have multiple strategic groups. Now, imagine you're playing StarCraft. They expect you to micromanage everything and go into first-person view of some of those Marines that are running down on the ground and then shoot people.
Yeah.
It's not good. So what I end up doing is completely ignoring the overhead view and just like having everybody together in one army and just controlling one dude, and I do 95% of the killing anyway.
So, I mean, when we saw it at E3,
shit, I gotta pay attention.
It looked like a cool concept.
So the way they explained it at E3, it sounded fucking awesome. They said, oh, yeah, so if all of your dudes die in this mission, then that changes the story. That's complete bullshit. That's what they said. They talked about the Strike Force missions as if whether or not the people who lived and died in the Strike Force missions mattered to the overall story. And that's completely false. 100% false. You have to complete the Strike Force missions, but if everybody dies except for one guy, then you're fine. Oh, so like this is another one of the kind of cool access kit things, and like every level has a couple of unique things like this. So some missions will have and you can use a mortar on that as well. So when he steps on it, so yeah, in addition to a bear trap, it's a landmine as well.
That's almost preferable. Just die instantly instead of get your leg caught until someone kills you. So, yeah.
So, yeah, the Strike Force missions are dumb. I don't like them. I don't think they're well done at all. They would have been much, much better as co-op multiplayer, where maybe... like it's 4-person co-op. So like in a lot of the missions, there's 4 groups of things you can control, and 2 groups of like humans, 1 little mini tank, and 1 kind of overhead flying thing. And if there was 4 people doing that, that'd be awesome. And it was a challenge to see who could waste the least resources, dying.
So it's not the idea that's bad; it's the execution.
It's not good for single player. Like. Okay. It's too fucking hard to micromanage all that stuff and shoot. Now, one of the things I haven't touched on at all is one of the really nice things about the single player is that it has all of these, so unskippable cutscenes, so the game gets a 0, obviously, right? So, other than that, every mission has 10 challenges. The shitty thing is that they don't tell you what the challenge, like you can't look at the challenges anywhere until you leave the mission and look at the challenge list and see what you've completed.
That's lame.
And even when you replay the mission, sometimes a game will add like a challenge mode after you complete the game, and it'll have extra objectives.
Right.
It doesn't do that either. It's not like you have to play through it once and then it shows you. It's just never there.
So you have to have it up on your computer.
Or go to WikiGameGuides. Yeah. Yes, exactly. You have to know going into the mission what the challenges are, and there is an achievement for completing every challenge, and there's 10 on every one of the levels, including the Strike Force missions. So, and then one of the challenges on the Strike Force missions is only use the tactical overhead view. Like
going into humans?
No first-person control of the humans at all. So it's like, well, it better be balanced to do that and actually be able to complete the mission, because it sure as shit doesn't seem like it. Like, the AI does not seem very smart or aggressive at all. Like, they seem like they will only do exactly what you tell them to do and nothing more. Like, in some... I don't know. I was just doing all of the killing myself.
You can't trust them to do anything.
You can't trust them to do anything. So that the Strike Force missions seemed like a major failure. And like maybe they were part of a co-op campaign at one point in time, and then they got scrapped or something. But I don't know. They're just not good. Don't like them at all. So we're almost done with this mission. Yeah, I think we're done with this mission. I don't feel like finishing it. Whoops. Since I played through it like fun. 10 times. Yeah, single player is awesome. Highly recommend playing through it. The challenge stuff is pretty interesting. I'm working on a guide for that. So you can see, if you go to the mission, you can see all the challenges. And it's things like get 15 kills with that machete that you started off with. Destroy all the tanks when you're doing that flying section. Kill 5 dudes at once with 1 mortar. Kill a whole bunch of people with the bear traps. Collect all the intel. Don't die. Stuff like that. So they're really interesting, but they don't show you them in the level, which is dumb.
Yeah.
Really, really poorly done in that regard.
And easily fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Or, I mean, that's something that's super simple.
It seems like it'd be a very simple thing to add that hopefully they'll add with a future patch. Game also has zombies. I don't really like zombie modes. Whether it's horde mode or firefight, which also isn't in Halo, or zombies. I just don't like them. I think they're boring. So let's check out multiplayer. Never had this before. Message of the day. Oh, interesting. New, I got you covered. Plays all levels, league play. I've already read this one before. Okay. So, one really interesting thing about this is they have league play now, which is basically ranked, where you get a ladder rank for... Why can I not view my ladder? There we go. So after playing enough games, you will get put into a ladder. And it's very similar to StarCraft, actually, where I'm in the bronze division. I have no idea how I got in the bronze division because I've played with lots of people that were in the gold division, and I did better than them. So, whatever.
Climb that ladder, John.
Yeah, exactly. And they have the solo ladder in addition to a team ladder. So there's 2 different series even, which is kind of confusing. They have this solo rank 6v6 where you can go in with a team. I believe you can go in with a team, but your rank is your own. Now in the Champion series, there's a team and a solo rank, and you get a ladder rank for every team of 4 that you play with. So if you have like a core group of 3 people that are on all the time, and then you swap out a 4th person, every composition of 4 people will have their own ladder rank. And it's very similar to any other ladder ranking system you've seen. Like you get the placement games and then you move up and down the ladder depending on whether or not you win. The thing I love about the ladder games is absolutely everything is unlocked from the very beginning. There is no unlocking of weapons at all.
Awesome.
So like I can get every attachment, every perk, everything from the very beginning, which is awesome if you don't want to deal with getting killed by people that have guns that you don't have yet, or you just don't give a shit about the leveling up and on rank and unlocking tons and tons of things. If you're burned out on unlock overload, this is awesome. You don't have to deal with that. It's totally up to you. And obviously for a ranked thing, that makes perfect sense because you don't want to give people who have just played 10 times as much, but might not necessarily be better than someone who hasn't unlocked everything.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I read that Assassin's Creed, you have to unlock stuff through multiplayer.
Like every game, yeah. I mean, but the unlock stuff is still in this game. Let me be clear about that. It's still in this game, but only for the public matches.
Okay. Well, the thing I read that was interesting was that their DLC for $5 just unlocks everything. Regardless of what level you are.
Fuck that. Don't like that at all.
That's whack.
Bullshit.
That's like rewarding rich people.
Yep. So let's play a match. Let's do Deathmatch. I like domination. I like the objectives. Oh no, I'm gonna do
What's the difference between like core and hardcore?
hardcore, no HUD, less health. So it's like you die faster, basically. And you don't get that nice little mini map that shows you enemy locations. Core is traditional stuff. I'll do ground war.
No soft core, huh?
No, well, no.
Just core and hardcore.
Just hard and hardcore. Yeah. Let's see. What was I using? I think this is the one that I was doing pretty well with before. So what game type am I playing right now? I have no idea. Team Deathmatch. Okay. This is going to be kind of tough.
Does it show your kills and your deaths?
It does show my kills and my deaths. Who would have thought? Oh. I got stuck. Holy shit. Wow, really? Whoa.
That didn't look right.
No, didn't look right at all. That seemed kind of like bullshit. Oh, what just hit me? Oh, also, for the PC, the default controls are kind of shitty. Oh, what the fuck is that? Oh, that's the stun thing, maybe? I don't know. Ugh. It's really hard to play without audio. I'm realizing right now.
Just like no enemy locations?
Well, yeah, like you don't realize how important hearing footsteps and gunshots and everything is to like finding enemy locations. So yeah, like the default crouch and default go prone and melee and all that, they're pretty shitty. So I had to change around a lot of them to. Ooh, man, I barely avoided that. I did change them all around completely. Oh, no way.
All right, we're gonna have to get a kill before we finish this.
No, no, I don't think so. Yay, got a kill.
Nice.
Wow, shit, grenade.
Revenge, comeback. So is there one weapon that everyone uses?
No, at least not yet. There probably will be at some point, but not yet. Oh, so remind me to check out the created class stuff again in a little bit, because they've changed out how that works, and I want to get into that a little bit more.
Martyrdom?
No martyrdom, no last stand, which is awesome.
That is good. Good things to remove.
Yes, fuck those things. I think there's an enemy around here.
So you're just in a normal public match?
Yeah, right now this is like big team battle.
And is there
They don't
any
even call
sort
that Halo.
of skill matching?
No, I don't believe so. Not for public, I don't think so at all. I mean, that wouldn't make sense.
And if there is, it's invisible.
I don't think there's any at all. I mean, it's a public match. I don't want it to be. Well,
right.
They haven't said anything. And between this and Halo, they're always so cagey about how the actual back end of that stuff works that unless you go digging around the internet for every fucking article about it, then you don't know. They don't present it to you, I guess is the only thing you can really say.
They don't present them.
Right.
So how are the maps?
The maps, they're good in that they're big. There's a couple of small maps, if you like that kind of thing, like Nuketown, and there's like a map on a ship on the Love Boat that is bigger if you want that kind of thing. Or I mean, that's quite a bit smaller, I should say. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Any classic maps from other games?
Not that I recognize. I'm sure they'll sell them eventually, though. But I don't think so. So yeah, I mean, things like spawn killing and map balance, especially for objective-based game types, not just team deathmatch. Problems with those always come up. They just always come up. They will come up, and it's up to the developer to patch those things and balance those things later
Post-release.
in the game. Right. And whether or not they do, that still remains to be seen. So, I mean, like every multiplayer game requires post-release balance. And right now, it seems fine. Like I haven't had problems with getting spawn killed yet.
Good.
But yeah. So let's take a look at the create a class. Because I thought this was really interesting. So,
Quickie Mart?
Yep.
Smame?
I don't know. I get drunk and start typing things. So they have this system. It's called Pick 10 now, right? So you can see in the top, I get 10 things to choose. I can go into the game with absolutely nothing chosen, with this as my class. And all you have is a knife.
What is there some sort of bonus that you get by having unused points?
I don't think so. I'm not sure. Haven't tested that out yet. But the interesting thing is, like, normally you choose a primary and a secondary. But in every class that I've made so far, I don't choose a secondary. I will only choose a primary. So if I want 2 attachments, so like just choosing a gun, that uses 1 of the 10. If I want rapid fire, and let's do long barrel. No, the laser sight. That uses 2. So I've used 3 of my 10 possible things so far.
Mm-hmm.
If I want a pistol, that takes 1 as well, but I never use the pistol when I have ammo for this. And presumably, if I get a kill with my primary gun, I'll be able to pick up their gun and not waste one of my 10 spots on a backup gun.
Yeah.
So I can choose a perk. Let's do move faster, toughness, and dexterity. And then you can do a second, like let's say there's 2 perks. Oh, I do want... I want a ghost, but I don't have that one yet. So let's say I want dead silence, right? But you can only choose 1. Well, they have these wild cards now too, where you can take up another spot. So to take a second perk 3, it takes 2 of those 10.
Mm-hmm.
So dexterity. So it's pretty expensive to get a second perk. And then like a grenade is 1, and then a tactical grenade is 1 as well. And then to get a second tactical grenade, it's not doubly expensive, I guess is the best way to put it.
What are the other wild cards?
So you can do one that is get a 3rd attachment for your primary weapon.
Okay.
So if you really want to front load that primary weapon, which I do for almost every single one of my creative classes, which has been my favorite kind of setup so far, you can get so I can get a 3rd attachment for that. Let's do quick draw. And then things like have a set, like they're almost all a second of something. So if you want to take a second lethal weapon, like 2 grenades instead of just 1 grenade, or a tactical grenade in place of your lethal grenade, so you can get a boatload of concussion grenades or something like that. You could do that. So the wild cards, they're not as powerful as a perk. They're basically kind of amplify a perk or help make your gun even stronger, or your tacticals even stronger.
That's a really cool system.
Yeah, it's really like it's a tweak on the system that you already know pretty well, and it actually allows a lot of flexibility. So let's say, I don't give a shit about any of these perks. You don't have to use a perk 3, which gives you more flexibility for maybe another concussion grenade and another attachment for your gun.
Yeah.
So it's really interesting like that. Yeah, it has a whole lot of flexibility. And of course, there's tons of customizations for the weapons, like, different camos for getting a bunch of headshots with a weapon, different reticules if you do like the reflex sight. Yep. So if you get enough kills while using the reflex sight, you can do different I mean, like things you've kind of seen before.
Yeah.
It's got the fully customized Emblem Editor, which I don't like to spend the time doing, but you can do all sorts of different things to it.
Penises.
I mean, it's an incredibly complex system that I don't like spending time on. Some people do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like 95% of people's emblems are just cock and balls.
Okay.
So, yeah.
That's good. I do like to see that.
Yeah. So it's a very, if you like doing it, it's there. It's not something I like spending time doing.
Kind of like painting cars in Forza.
Exactly. Like if you like creating a fully custom thing, and then it's got the calling card as well, and you unlock these by doing different things. I don't know. Prestiging weapons, clan tags, all sorts of stuff that
looks like great multiplayer from what you've shown me.
Yeah. You know, it's not revolutionary in the way that Call of Duty 4 was. The way that they had that unlock system that completely changed every first-person shooter multiplayer
from then on
forever.
Yeah,
like there's no way it's going back in any game ever. But it's very well done, and I like the league system. I'm really interested in playing more of the league system. I don't know what else. Like I could play multiplayer for a while, but I think most people kind of know what to expect from Call of Duty multiplayer, and that like you either like it or you don't. Like you know that you like Call of Duty multiplayer and you like that style and you like that kind of pacing of it, or maybe you like the Halo multiplayer more. And I like both. I really do.
Yeah.
But I have to have the ranked system. That's what's important to me. That's
awesome. I'm very impressed with that ladder thing. The fact that they copied,
they copied StarCraft.
The best out there.
Right. They copied the thing that they should have copied, not regressed significantly.
Right.
Like
try to make their own.
Right. Their own invisible system that doesn't actually do anything.
Thumbs up for single and multi.
And tons of challenges. Like it still has all that unlock overload shit in there that I don't necessarily
COD
like.
TV.
Oh yeah.
Is that about fish?
No. So these are like official trailers, I believe. Oops. Yeah, and it's got this built-in, Treyarch. Yeah, these are the official trailers.
So
I actually haven't looked at this very much. Most popular.
Make Machinima or something?
Oh, let's look at this. Oh, it just crashed. Well, that's interesting. I think it's as good a time as any to end it.
Yeah.
I haven't had that happen yet. All right. Well,
so thumbs up for both sides?
Big thumbs up for both sides and a big question mark for zombies because I know I don't like it.
Okay.
All right. Game on.
Game on.